Hello, class. This is Instructor Bings, and these are the video instructions to the chapters outline assignment. It will be posted, and then right underneath the video, you will see the printed instructions. So I'm going to try to walk through those and hopefully clarify anything that was fuzzy from yesterday's class. So let me bring up the share function, and you should be able to see now the course homepage. Going into the start working folder, you then go to Module 1 assignments, and the chapter's outline will now be right here at the bottom. By the time you see this video, it will be right here underneath that phrase, video instructions. So, as I shared with you yesterday, you will be preparing an outline, and it is a full sentence outline. Now, full sentence format. If you're not sure what that is, consult the Purdue website provided in the I Need Help folder. So you go over to I Need Help, go down to almost the bottom. That's where you're going to find a direct link to the types of outlines on Purdue's online writing lab. Click on that, and there you have it. You will go down here to the full sentence outlines. And if you remember from yesterday, or if you did not make class yesterday, let me go back to the assignment. If you were not there yesterday, I shared that a full sentence outline is simply putting the main points of the chapter in a sentence form. Let me go right now to the textbook. Let's see here. Here we go. All right, here's the textbook online. So we would start with chapter 1, of course. You're going to be outlining the first 4 chapters, but we would go to chapter 1 and click on it. And I told you this first part with the teal color is not going to be a part of your outline. Let me give you a couple of hints. Now, I've got it in your instructions right here. There are 5 main sections in chapter 1. There are 5 in chapter 2. There are 3 in chapter 3, and there are 6 in chapter 4. So we've got chapter 1 open. Instead of going through, now eventually you have to go through the whole chapter, but if you want to find the 5 main points, they are at the bottom of this first page that has all this teal color. These things here are the 5 main divisions of the chapter. These are the 5 things that you're going to put in sentence form. You can also find them if you were to go over here to this drop-down menu and open up chapter 1, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The study guide at the end of each chapter is not a main division. but it's much easier if you just use these 5 things here. So you're going to write these things in a sentence. Okay, I got into chapter 2 for some reason. I want chapter 1. You're going to write these in a sentence form. Now, let me give you another hint. The 5 main divisions are in blue color. All right. So for example, you're going to take this first main division, government. How do you make that into a sentence? Well, use this little thing right here in the green box as a clue. Differentiate between forms of government. So the first sentence could be something like this. There are many different forms of government. All right. So that's how you're going to do the main divisions of your chapter outline in a sentence form. But then you're going to have subpoints underneath your main points, your main divisions. The subpoints, here's another hint, are in orange letters. Here's the first subpoint underneath this main point. Is government needed? You do not have to put your subpoints in a sentence form. You can copy it right out of the book if you want to. Is government needed? Or you could reword it. Do we need government? Okay. There's the second subpoint, forms of government. Third subpoint, limiting government, and so on and so forth. Now, even in your subpoints, even in those sections, you might find even smaller subpoints, which would again be in blue letters. You might want to list these different forms of government underneath this subpoint. Now, I know this is all kind of getting fuzzy and confusing, so let me just do this. Let me go back to the assignment. And what I did for you, because I'm such a great and loving instructor, is I did a sample for you of all of chapter 1. Isn't that nice? It is down here at the bottom. It's in the assignment instructions. The first thing you'll see, the video instructions, then the printed instructions, and then a sample outline of chapter 1. Notice how I did it. The first main subpoint, I put, there are many different forms of human government. Subpoint A, is government needed? There were no subpoints underneath that section. So I go to subpoint B, forms of government. And then you will see here what I was just talking about. I listed those different forms of government in an outline form. The more you include in your outlines, the better grade you get. So just keep that in mind. So here is the first main subpoint. I'm sorry, the first main point, the first main division with all of the subpoints. The second main point of the chapter, here is the sentence that I wrote. Citizens in a democracy have the rights and responsibilities of participation, knowledge, and efficacy. Now remember, I told you there's 5 main points in chapter 1. So I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main points, and they are all written in a sentence. All subpoints do not have to be in sentence form. Now, you might have saw some red print down here, and let me explain to you what that is. As I go back up to the instructions, the printed instructions, you will see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 instructions for this assignment. I've already gone over number 1 with you. The main sections of each chapter must be in a full sentence. I've talked about number 2. Subsections under each main section do not have to be in a sentence. They can simply be typed as they appear in the textbook. The third instruction involves this red print down here. What I have asked you to do is, number 3, please respond to, provide an example of the aspects that I have highlighted from each chapter. They are, and then boom, from chapter 1, here are the things that I want you to respond to and include in your outline. So from chapter 1, include these 2 things, first and second, these 2 things in your outline. First, what is equality of opportunity, and what are the 3 controversies that have arisen concerning the government's role in addressing inequality? And then second, how did Donald Trump's election in 2016 reflect Americans' tendency to not trust the government? So you're going to outline chapter 1, and then I want you to include these 2 things in your outline. I want you to answer these 2 things, and that's what is in the red print down here. And you put it in the outline where it appears in the chapter. So these 2 things that you have to include in chapter 1 are found under main point number 4 and main point number 5. I told you, please address equality of opportunity. This is how I wrote it out. Equality of opportunity is the ideal that everyone deserves a fair chance to go as far as their talents will allow them. There have been 3 controversies arise about the government's role in addressing inequality. 1, what is the government's role concerning access to public and private facilities? 2, how far should the government be involved in individuals' private lives in regard to issues such as college admission in corporate and employment? And 3, should the government be involved with the issue of income equality? All right, that's exactly what I asked to do up here. What is equality of opportunity, and what were the 3 controversies? And then the second question that I asked you to do in this outline, how did Donald Trump's election in 2016 reflect Americans' attitude to not trust the government? Here's what I typed. The election of Donald Trump in 2016 was a result of many Americans' distrust in our government. Trump was a popular candidate and not a politician who criticized the government and promised to bring change. These things that I'm asking you to put in your outline, they are in your chapter. So you have to read it to know where to find these things, okay? And so for each chapter, I've asked you to include a couple of things. In chapter 2, there's 3 things that I want you to include. But other than chapter 3, there's 2 things that you have to include in each of your outlines that come from the chapters. All right, I hope that made sense. But you'll have this video to go back and consult. I think the instructions are fairly clear. I think they're very clear, actually. And you have my outline here. Do not copy my sample outline, but use it as a reference as you put together your outline. All righty. If you still have questions or are unclear, you can text me or email me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 11. Bye-bye.